Hey everyone, how you doing today? I wanted to put together this interview, this guest, this team, because there's a lot of talk about Bay Area real estate, the Silicon Valley, San Francisco, California, falling off a cliff, crash, collapse, whatever you want to call it. There's a big exodus to Las Vegas, Arizona, and Texas. I've been a part of it. I've been talking about how San Francisco is in some big, big trouble. The rest of the Bay Area, I think's okay, but I think we need to have a bigger discussion. Bobby Sharma's been a guest before. He's basically been pointing out on Facebook, hey, the Silicon Valley isn't going anywhere. So I thought we should have that conversation. And then we have Haley talking about all those damn California investors buying stuff in Texas. So it'll be pretty good roundtable. Why don't Haley introduce yourself first, and we'll go to Bobby after that.
All right, my name is Haley Howard. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas. I run a wholesale company called Lush Property Solutions. I'm also a licensed agent at EXP, and I am also doing multifamily syndication and deal sponsoring.
Very, very cool. Very busy. How about you, Bobby? What's going on?
Yeah, so Bobby Sharma here. I'm semi-retired, but I've invested in real estate for not as long as Mike, not as my lifestyle is not as glamorous as Mike's, but yeah, you've been investing in real estate, and then I've got my own little real estate startup going on, and Haley and I, we're partners, we're friends, we look at deals together, we do deals together, and we're about to do an apartment syndication, hopefully in 2021 together. So that's us.
Pretty nice, pretty nice. Well, you know what, Bobby? The reason I reached out to you is because you're the first person I saw kind of in my Facebook feed that was basically pushing back and reminding folks how special Silicon Valley is. And I won't remember the exact details, but basically is, hey guys, there was 12 rounds of funding for startups in the last, I don't know, 30, 45 days, whatever it was. All of them were in California and 0 were in Texas. Wake up. That was essentially the post. So, remind us what that was, and really remind us how special Silicon Valley is.
Yeah. So look, I've been in the Bay Area for 30 plus years now, so this has been home. I love everything that happens here. And I was attracted to Silicon Valley because I'm a technology professional, and I always wanted to work for a Silicon Valley company, and most of them were based out here. But over the past, say, 20 years, I've seen, Mike, you and I, we have seen, and you were in tech before, you retired. We saw a huge influx of people from other states, but also from out of the country, engineers that were needed here, people that needed to be in service and all that. So we had a huge population growth, right? The Bay Area became unaffordable. So in a way, I'm glad to see people leaving, to be honest with you. But to call it some of the folks go a little bit far with calling it the collapse of California or calling it the demise of California. I just don't see that happening.
Cal exit.
Exactly, Cal. But yes, look, should they be, if they can work remotely, should they be moving to Nevada, Texas, and Arizona? Yes, it makes complete sense to do that. My feeling is that this is a knee-jerk reaction. What really perplexes me, Mike and Haley, is that these people are going there and buying homes, but they don't know if their companies in a year or in 18 months are going to change policies and say, you know what, you got to be near the headquarters.
Didn't work. Let's go. Yeah.
So for example, Google just announced that, look, in 2021 up till September, maybe we'll let you work remotely. But after that, you got to come back to the office, maybe not 5 days a week, but you got to come into the office 3 days a week or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
So what I see is there's going to be a problem because a lot of these people are going to be in places like Utah and Nevada, in out in Sparks, Nevada, or whatever. And then their California company is going to say, okay, great, but we want you, 3 days or 2 days a week. We need you in the office.
Yeah.
So that's the big challenge that I see. If you truly are able to move to Texas, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, wherever, Florida, it doesn't matter, and you can truly find a local job and you're happy and your quality of life is better, which I'm sure it is, you can afford a bigger house, I'm like, go for it. That's all good.
Yeah. So Haley, I'm curious from your perspective, being out in the land of Texas, as a California real estate investor, all I keep hearing is you got to buy in Texas, you got to buy in Texas, got to buy in Texas. So I'm guessing when you're out looking for deals, right, you're representing buyers and sellers. I don't know what's 30%, 50% of kind of the interactions are with these damn California investors with all this cash, or what's going on in Texas these days?
Yes and no. So I guess from the agent side, from like listing and stuff. For example, I had a house in Allen, and it was on the market literally the first day, and I already had 3 offers, and we ended up getting in a bidding war. And after 6 days, we were, I think it was $8,000 above asking, and the buyer's agent also waived their commission. Oh, wow. So it was, a $15,000 commission that they waived. So 8 plus 15, I mean, it's starting to add up. So, it's not definitely right now. I would say it's still a seller's market, honestly. For sure, and that's for retail. For wholesale, I have definitely seen, Californians move in, whether it's remotely or whether it's, them actually being here. Yeah. But I've definitely seen a difference with that. And, the people who work with me at Lush, they've seen it as well.
Yeah. So my general impression of a California investor is they come in with gobs of money, and they don't really understand Texas or Allen or Dallas or whatever the market is. And frankly, they overpay. You may not want to say that, but I will. I think Californians overpay in much of the country. Is that fair?
I mean, yeah.
Fair enough. You can't say that. That's okay.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. I don't want to put you on the spot. But I want to go back to you, Bobby, because one of the things that I am nervous about, right? So you're nervous about people leaving, working remotely a year and a half, then the company going, hey, that didn't work. Get your ass back in town. That's basically what Google said. And I have Google employees all around me where I live. So I'm like not even 2 miles away. And what they're telling me off the record is, hey, they want us back, right? Google's magic sauce is when their Googlers, I think is what they call themselves, are together and they could collaborate, right? And all that open space and all that. And that's missing. They're missing some of that serendipity of things. So it's very clear that their leadership wants them back. It'll be interesting to see how many other tech companies go that route. Because right now, many of them are going, hey, we're going to shut down, like Pinterest, right? They paid almost $90 million to break a 10-year lease in San Francisco and basically said, get out, we're not coming back, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens and if other tech comes back. But what I'm nervous about is the next generation. Because I've been here 50 years, almost 50 years. And Silicon Valley has been a special place because not only do we do that innovation and then there's a equity event or a liquidity event for many people if they're lucky enough, right? And that's how people can afford 7-figure homes in Palo Alto that have been touched in the 1950s. Right. But the feeder for that is the college graduate, the master's degree, the computer scientist. I believe we've shut that down in 2020. They're not coming. They're probably not going to come in 2021. And if we don't start that back up again, if we're not bringing people from MIT, from, these other high tech schools, I'm nervous about that feeder system. That's how the Silicon Valley could lose its muster. It's the next generation.
No, and absolutely. There's going to be an impact. And, look, I've always felt that VCs predominantly invest in Bay Area companies because most of the VCs were based here, and they wanted the startups to be within, an hour's drive or an hour and a half's drive, right? Because they're putting their money to work. Well, now that's changing, right? And in a way, I'm happy to see like venture capital going to other smaller cities. Like it should be going to St. Louis, it should be going to Dallas, it should be going to Cleveland, whatever, Detroit. So I'm happy about that. And there will be major startups that are now going to come out of maybe like a Chicago or a Dallas or something like that.
Yeah.
Good for their economy, right? The money shouldn't be just concentrated. The capital shouldn't just be concentrated in New York, San Francisco, LA, right? It should be available throughout the country. I agree with you that now we have interrupted whether it's Stanford, Berkeley, Caltech, graduates,
Yeah, exactly. They're going home now, right? They're taking their degree. They may have come from out of the country. They may have come from another state. Before, them and four of their buddies would go sit in a room in a house in Palo Alto on house hack, right? And that's not happening now. They're bouncing back. They're doing things over Zoom. That is the biggest risk to me to the Silicon Valley. I think we stay flat for 2021. The outside of San Francisco, I think San Francisco's done, but outside the city. But I'm very nervous because if that doesn't boomerang back and it becomes entrenched where the Caltech, the Stanford, the Berkeley, the MITs just go home. They don't come here. That will be a slow demise because again, the baby boomers will retire and move out. We don't get the next feeder system to afford these stupid prices. And that could mean it won't be a crash.
Yeah.
It'll be like a balloon with a little hole in it. It will just slowly deflate.
And I would say I totally agree. And look, the prices do need to adjust. They were ridiculously high, right? I mean, so I'm like, okay, let's bring it back to some reasonable level.
Well, let's define reasonable because that's a cool word to use. But let's say the median. I think I'm close. Median in Palo Alto, California, $1.8 million.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So what's reasonable, Bobby?
So you have to look at the median income of the people in that area, right? So
all right. So what do you think it is? Palo Alto's like, God, $500,000?
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, easily. 600 maybe somewhere in there for families.
Families easily, $500,000, maybe even maybe absolutely.
6, somewhere up there.
$500,000 is pretty reasonable. If you look at their stock options and all that, the package, I think it's and usually it's two people working. So
true.
So I think $500,000 is very easy to achieve. That's why you can get a $1.8 million home.
Yeah.
So I would say, so what I have noticed based on the data is San Francisco rents have come down.
Yeah, 30 points.
The prices have come down on the luxury, especially on the luxury end, have really come down. On the sub 1.2 million, 1.5 million, hardly any impact.
Yeah.
Like very little impact. So, but at the same time, the capital, the infrastructure, like, the VCs on Sand Hill Road, maybe 1% of them are going to move out of the Bay Area, right? Maybe 1 or 2%, right? Because they got their beautiful homes in Atherton and in Los Altos and all that. They're not moving, right?
Yeah.
So the capital is still going to be here, right? Now, should people in Chicago and St. Louis and Kansas City, should they be building their own local, hyper-local VC economy? Well, they should. They, like those MIT graduates that you were referring to, if they came from Kansas City, they should now go back to Kansas City and build the capital infrastructure.
Start the ecosystem,
Start the ecosystem over there and start your company over there. And nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So Haley, one question I'd love to ask you again, I have no experience in Texas other than I've been to Dallas and Austin, as a visitor, but never looked at real estate. I'm curious, UT, University of Texas, you got some very good universities and colleges there. It may be too early to tell, but are you seeing, I know Austin for sure, right? Austin is threatening to become the next, I think they're calling it Silicon Hill I think they're calling it. Are you seeing kind of a tech focus, or people coming back, like they go to school and then they come back? Or maybe it's too early.
I mean, so what I have seen is if there's anything around a university, like maybe TCU, well, I mean, that's in Dallas as well. So
Sure.
I don't know if you know a lot about the UT area.
That's fine. TCU. Thank you.
There is an influx, but things that are around universities tend to go faster or tend to go sight unseen.
Interesting.
You know, I can't even get to a showing before someone's like, "Hey, when are offers due?" Oh, well,
Yeah.
can I just get it now? I'm like,
can I jump the line? Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, hey, can you meet me there 30 minutes early? I'm like, okay, well, that's not really how I do things, but you know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So I have seen buyers, especially, jump on things around that area, and things like the medical district.
Okay.
That's also booming as well.
Interesting.
Because of the hospitals and stuff, and
Sure.
and everything is overtime right now. So basically rents are always going to be there.
Okay.
If not more, like a value add almost, eventually. But as of right now, it's not too crazy, but I definitely see the influx of, overpaying, buying things sight unseen that aren't usually done like that.
Right.
Just remotely, things like that.
And then who's buying? Is it the first time home buyer? Is it the millennial? Is it the doctor? Is it the California person who's coming home, or what's going on? Who's really buying today?
I mean, so I've seen, like I said, there's been multiple offers on things. So I've kind of seen more than just, a certain kind of person, but I have seen a lot of people who are, creating their own family. Like maybe there's a baby on the way, or maybe it's, they just relocated, or maybe it's, they switched jobs since everything is kind of iffy with COVID. So maybe they transferred somewhere where they can work remotely, where, and they want to do it from their house. Well, they're upgrading their house because of that reason. So there's things like that I've seen.
Okay. Very cool. So as I want to talk about this, Bobby. So paint your picture of the Silicon Valley. So not just San Francisco, Silicon Valley, even ex-San Francisco, right? All the way from like San Ramon, Fremont, Milpitas, the whole Bay. Do you think where do you see it kind of 5 years, 10 years from now? Because I think the next year or so I think it's all kind of fuzzy for the first time, but I'm curious what you think. You got 30 years at this. You're a real estate guy. What do you think?
So the biggest worry that I have for Bay Area and then for the California in general are the government policies, the California government policy, the local city, county policies that are, and then, things like tenant rights, the pendulum has swung too far to the left.
Yeah.
Way too far.
Yeah. So
I think what a lot of people are saying is, look, look, California is great and all that, but they can't take the heavy-handed nature of our politicians, our regulators, and so on and so forth. So I see that as a very big threat. It's and then the other thing is, whether people like, okay, yes, the pandemic, there's a huge digital transformation that took place. The people are, yes, able to work remotely, but I agree with your Googler neighbors that it is just not as effective. It just cannot replace that in conference room brainstorming and working on ideas and putting it on a whiteboard. That chemistry just cannot be replaced, even using Zoom or any other tool. But there'll be attempts to make it better. I think technology for collaboration will get better over time, but it won't replace the interaction that we have with each other in person. My prediction is that it will. By the way, Silicon Valley has seen multiple pullbacks, right? You've been here 50 years. And I came here in the late mid 90s. Yeah. So I've seen at least 3 corrections.
Yeah.
Contractions, right? And it always comes back stronger. It always just, it's like, hey,
yeah, the one wrinkle back to your government thing and why Texas is winning is taxes. So, I mean, you know the math, and I'll just put them here so they're on video. The top 1% of Californians, so about, I think it's the top 30,000 people, pay 60% of the taxes, gross receipts. That's crazy. If we lose a third of those people, and there's a good chance we do, middle class taxes have to go up.
Yeah.
Have to go up because of some of these government services and things. That to me is the big risk, because 2020 is the year that the rich leave. 2021 is when we figure out how big the hole is. And if government does what they've proven to do, either you have 2 choices, right? You either reduce expenses or you raise taxes. They've never reduced squat.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the only way to get back to even is to raise taxes on the middle class. And if that happens, I believe the middle class, the working poor, whatever you want to call them, we go, the weather's not worth it. I'm done. I'm going to a red state. That, dude, that's a 2022, 2023 problem. And that could, I mean, you want to talk about Texas going nuts. When you have the working poor, right? So if we talk about 500 being the ones that can afford those nice houses, we have people here making 200 grand that can't rub 2 nickels together. If they move to Texas and make $150, they're living large.
They're living large. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're 100% right. To me, the government policies and some of the left-wing advocacy groups are what's going to destroy California. So my hope is that the Californians will elect a new generation of politicians. That's my hope.
Yeah. Dude, hope's not a strategy. Who said that? I forget.
Yeah, I know. But look, we have, we've had our share of problems before, but I think before the pandemic, even now, the economy is doing pretty good. Yes, some people are leaving and they're making a lot of noise, but we had millions of people come to California over the decade.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this. It just came out yesterday. This year has been the 3rd year out of the last 150 years where the net migration in California was negative. We did technically see population increase, but it was birth to death rate, right?
Yeah. Net migration.
Net migration. And there was one time, I think back in the early 1900s or whatever, when it happened. And then the other times were in the last 15 years, right? Where there's California's net migration. This is something we have to watch because we are the highest tax state. We are probably going higher. We have bad policy down at the city, like San Francisco passing a wealth tax here recently. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you telling people to move? I don't understand. I mean, what are you freaking doing, people? But again, I think all of this, I have no faith. You have hope. I have no faith.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, it is going to be tricky, but I think if enough people leave, maybe they'll get the message, right? Maybe they'll get some,
But back to the Palo Alto question, back to reasonable. You never answered that, which was smart. I'll answer it. Yeah. So if we say the average home is 1.5 today for a house that's like a 1950s ranch that's haven't been updated in 20 years, or 1.8 or whatever you want to call it, man, if it falls by 50%, I'm not even sure that's reasonable, right? I mean, that's still 900 grand. Yeah. I mean, that's
but it's Palo Alto.
No, I get it. It's Palo Alto's special place on the earth. Stanford's right there. I mean, who was that tech company that just left to Colorado?
It's
the security company. Anyways, whoever it is, I forget their name. But anyways, it's Palantir. Palantir was right on University, right? And they left. But again, I think California, again, I'll go back to my analogy. I don't think California crashes. It's not a bubble popping. It's not 2008 all over again. I do believe we have a slow leak. And unfortunately, I think our government may add little holes and increase but I don't see I don't see Palo Alto going 1.8 to 900 in 6 months.
No.
It might go 1.8 to 900 over 7 years.
Yeah.
But that's what I think. And then Haley, for Texas, all I got to tell you is get ready. Some Californians are coming your way.
Oh, I'm ready.
I think you should have a test that says, are you going to vote red or blue? And then you send some of those back and you let the other ones in.
Yeah. Well, here's a lot of Texans worry that Californians are moving and they're going to turn the state.
Every state, Nevada, Arizona. Yeah.
But the people who are leaving are mostly conservatives.
Yeah.
Right? Mostly red-minded people.
The ones that are being attacked.
Yeah. The ones that are being attacked. So I'm in that pack. I just look, socially I'm liberal, but on financial issues and, in entrepreneurship.
So when are you moving to Texas?
Very soon.
God! I didn't know that. I was just surprised.
No, I'm Q1 of 2021. It's either Texas or Florida. So, but
you're done with California. You're out.
Yeah, I think I still own some real estate here. I'll never sell that real estate. Sure. It just never, right? Because, by the way, I drew a graph. I'm kind of a numbers geek. So I track the performance of the real estate. So I went back to 2020. I went back, 2000.
Okay.
And I tracked a property in San Jose, the appreciation and then the cash flow. If somebody had paid X amount, and normalized, right? Normalized for, let's say $100,000. You take that graph and the amount, so appreciation, cash flow, and you plot it against most Texas cities or any Texas cities, San Jose comes out way ahead.
Absolutely.
Way ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that my accountant, when I was doing my taxes a few months ago, she's like, why are you here? You're getting killed by the state income tax.
Yeah.
And, why aren't you in Nevada or somewhere else?
Florida, Texas, Nashville. Yeah.
So that's when, and Haley and I were already talking about like the Dallas market and all that.
You're going to be amazed at what you can buy in Texas or Florida, you dirty dog. All right, Haley, any closing comments, Haley? Maybe how people can follow you or get a hold of you if they want to reach out and buy something in Texas?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook. My tag is Haley Howard Lush. It's HALEY. And then at the end, it's LUSH. And then also I'm on, of course, LinkedIn and stuff like that.
Very cool. And Bobby, how can they follow you?
Mike, I've got a new startup and I need to demo it to you, but it's called bettercapital.us. Nice. And I'd love to have you on our podcast as well, because I know you have a ton of knowledge that you can share with our members. But just Bobby at bettercapital.us. That's where I'm at.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys for doing this. A lot of fun. I can't wait to post this and see what the reaction will be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.